Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some.
All right, looks like we're...
Ace is on mute.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm back. I'm back.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on like a little, I don't know why. It usually takes me like a few extra seconds or whatever to pop on. But welcome to the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. I am Ace. You're watching another episode of Sports Minute. Tonight I'm welcome with my co-hosts for this evening. We have none other than Big B. Big B, how are you doing tonight, my man?
Doing good. Normally when Sports Minute happens, we don't have many topics to talk about, but last 24, 48 hours, there's been some things to talk about, so I can't wait to get everybody's intake on everything.
Yeah, and what I think is funny about it, like we already had an agenda coming in, but then right after that, we ended up finding more that we're like, holy crap, we can even talk about this. Like the topics just kept coming in and in and in and in and in. All right, so James Gonzalez, how are you doing tonight?
I was behind, you see, on this calendar. I had January, but you guys want to see what February is in this Angels calendar?
You're coming up here showing an Angels calendar.
All right.
No, I just thought about it. I was like, wait, it's not January.
Nope, today's
February. Good. I had a 14-hour workday today. I'm like, I'm ready to kind of go to bed, but I want to send off Tom Brady in style.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll see how long that lasts. But anyways,
that's what she said.
Like I said, we have a lot of great topics for you tonight. The one that I wanted to start with is kind of one that we were talking a little bit about right before we came on here, because we all thought that it was like a ridiculous stat. So for anybody who is really curious what we're actually talking about here, we're talking about Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak. Now, I know, Big B, you were talking about how people were mentioning, was that full games or what? Well, let's understand this, okay? So you might be asking, is it like, how many innings? Well, to put into perspective how many consecutive innings this guy actually started, we actually did research on this. At one point from 82 to 87, he played every inning for a 5-year stretch. Over 8,000 consecutive innings played. And you want to talk about like dedication and a ridiculous stat that people don't really talk about, and it's one of the most underrated records out there. So Big B, I'll definitely start with you. What's your thoughts on this when people start saying, well, yeah, but it wasn't, every inning, every game?
Well, and that's what all started. I saw the same post that you just read off, that it's the most underrated streak ever. To that person, come talk to me, because there's different things that are more underrated than that. To play as much as he did in conditions every day, and even, if it was first base, okay, maybe we can kind of say underrated. But he played shortstop. Then he went to the hot corner at third base, and he still put up massive numbers, Gold Glove type numbers. And the thing is he was not a power hitter. And in that time, your third and first baseman were power hitters. He was not a power hitter. He was a contact hitter. He played defense. To play that many games consecutively, I don't care if it's 5 innings, 6 innings, 1 inning, 2 pitches, or whatever. To be the manager at the time puts his lineup card together. Cal Ripken, you don't have to put a pen to it. You put it in marker because he's going to start for you. He went to the ballpark knowing he was going to start. He could have went 0 for 20. He's going to start the next day because that's Cal Ripken. nowadays somebody goes 0 for 5, 0 for 6, 0 for 8 in 2 games. He's sitting the next day to get his mind off of it. Cal Ripken played. He played. I mean, there's no underestimating or underrating that streak at all.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I would not want to be that manager that would have to look at Cal Ripken and be like, "Hey, today your consecutive game streak is ending."
Yeah,
like I would hate to have been that manager. But James, give us your thoughts on the Cal Ripken consecutive game streak.
I just look at his career with the Orioles. He went through a lot, even playing all these innings and all these games in a row. I think about when he first came up, he was playing for his father.
Yep.
And then won a World Series right away in 1983 in Philadelphia. Then I believe I forget what year, 87, 88, 89, they started the season 0-18, I want to say. Or 0-22. I can't remember what it was. But to play through that, knowing that your season is basically over, and then to go through the 90s and win a few, pennants there, that was really good for him, the longevity. But it shows you nowadays, what Big B was mentioning, someone has a bad game or someone has a little strain or a little pull, feel tightness or whatever the case is, they sit him right away. And I don't even want to get started with the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Like the whole NBA, when you think about it, it's like, oh, we're going to make up this injury that's nagging, and they sit out one night and they play the next night or whatever it is, reverse the order. But it just shows with Cal Ripken Jr., the pride he had to play every game like that, every inning throughout that time and every game after that. That's really impressive. And I never really looked at him as one of the greats, but I have to do my research and more research. I came in liking baseball after he retired, so I don't know much about him as much as maybe everyone else. But the one thing is always the streak. It's always his fast hitting stroke from what I remember seeing some film on him, but he is Mr. Oriole. And I know there was Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, Eddie Murray, throw whoever you want. But when you think of the Orioles, you think of Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah. So before Ace speaks, so he's got a consecutive inning streaks of 800 or 8,264. If you divide that just by 9, it's going to take somebody 918 games to get that. And for his streak, which was 2,000, what was his streak?
2,642, right?
Yeah. And divide that by 162, you got to play just over 16 years in the major leagues. So 16 years in like a month. Nobody's touching that.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost compare it to the Brett Favre Iron Man streak. In the NFL, nobody's touching that, and nobody's touching the Cal Ripken.
Now we'll put quotations on there, even though we all agree Brett Favre's Iron Man streak is legit. They're comparing it, well, this punter has this punter has that. No doubt, it's still hard to do that many streaks, but Brett Favre took a beating. I'm sorry.
He did, because playing quarterback is way different than being a punter. Like a quarterback, you pretty much you have the ball every play on offense. Like you're handling the ball every single play on offense, and so it's
it was back in the day where a punter or kicker sometimes was the team quarterback. Then yes, okay, let's throw that streak out there. But today, only a punter kicker. No disrespect to them, their streak is there, but give me Brett Favre's streak.
Right. So let's ask this: which one do you is more impressive? Is it the Cal Ripken or is it the Iron Man streak?
Ooh.
I think football, because even though you don't play every day, You still feel the pains throughout the year and throughout the week. And the weather is a factor, especially in Green Bay. In the summertime, you play baseball, and it's usually very nice. Wintertime at Lambeau is awful. And when you have bruises, when you have nicks, when you have everything you can think of that Brett Favre had, I wonder how many concussions he had, honestly. But
he said he had dozens of.
Yeah.
He did come out and say he was addicted to painkillers.
yeah,
He did.
He
that.
did. Yeah,
because when you think of Steve Young and Troy Aikman, especially retiring because of concussions, it shows you how much of a daredevil Brett Favre was. That's why I say Brett Favre's streak is tougher in football, I would say.
Even though, but let's everybody understand that we're not knocking on Cal Ripken's consecutive game streak, because it's never going to be touched in baseball. It's never going to happen, especially nowadays. It's not going to happen.
Everybody gets a scheduled day off. I hate that.
Yeah, pretty much everybody gets a scheduled day off. Nobody's gonna even come close to that streak. It's like pitchers. You don't see a lot of complete games anymore, because pitchers get to like 90 pitches and the manager just goes, okay, let's pull them. Yep. 80 pitches. Okay, 80 pitches is plenty. Let's pull them. So you're not going to see a lot of that Cal Ripken stuff now. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I thought that was actually pretty impressive.
Go ahead.
Get me ready for baseball.
Did you want to say something else there?
Well, I mean, even throwing the NBA streak, which I believe we just had it. AC Green with 1,100 games. You could throw that streak in there too. Yes, football by far is more damaging on the body. Basketball can be damaging on the body. Cal Ripken playing shortstop, third base, definitely damaging on the body. I mean, I take Brett Favre's streak 10 out of 10 times with the close second with Cal Ripken and AC Green. I mean,
and one thing with AC Green's streak, he didn't play a glamour position. He was, a muscle man. He would,
he took some beatings.
He would just rebound. Oh. He rarely shot. So night after night, he would just have to battle with people. He didn't have a jumper. He didn't do anything of that. So that Ironman streak is definitely something. I wonder what NHL is, but
he was like a Dennis Rodman.
What streak are you looking for?
The NHL games played in a row.
I'm pretty sure that
Phil
that's
Kessel,
Gordie Howe, right? I think that's Gordie Howe.
No, Phil Kessel. They got it listed at 1,018 games with the greater sign on there, because I don't know if they actually
greater.
Yeah. So, but they're saying Phil Kessel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's go ahead and jump to our next topic here. So, our next topic for the evening is, we all heard the news today, that it came out early this morning, and this one was kind of interesting because he went live this time instead of actually dropping it. Because did either of you actually get to watch his video? Yeah. To where he basically, James, did you have a chance to watch it?
Just a tad of it. I heard of it.
Yeah. So basically, in the video, he came out and said, "Well, you only get to write a great retirement speech once, and I used it up last year. So this year, I'm just going live to tell everybody, hey, this is it for good." So this time he's saying for good. So James, I'll start out with you on this one. Do you truly believe that this is it? Do you truly believe that he's actually gone and not coming back?
Where to start? I think it is. I think somehow he's feeling different about his life off the field, and then he realized he's not as good as he used to be, and he's going to be 46. So yeah, I think he's done for sure. I think his play showed it, honestly. And I was so scared too because a lot of people had him rumored going to the Raiders, and I thought that would be so awkward as heck because, back in 2002 there was that snowy playoff game and the Tuck rule and all that crap happened, led to the
Right.
Patriots dynasty and the Raiders downfall for years. Still not over it. They had that 30 for 30, but I didn't watch that crap because I knew what happened. I know what happens. But yeah, I think he's done. And I'm interested too, guys. I want to see how he does at Fox because I know he has an agreement there where he's going to make a lot of money being on television.
Yep.
But I wonder what role he does, if he's a studio guy or if he's in the booth. And you know how they already have Greg Olson as the lead color guy. That doesn't sound right. But I wonder if it's going to be a 3-man booth. And we heard Brady talk, and he kind of sounds dorky. It was always about, strategy with, how Belichick he is. But I think he's done for sure playing. But I think all that money at Fox is waiting, and all the opportunities he has off the field is coming. And he's won already enough. He won 7 rings, 7 championships. So I think he's content with what he's done, and I think you want to go out with at least a divisional championship, and he did that.
Father Time is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Father Time. Big B, what's your thoughts? You think that this is potentially it for Tom Brady, or are we going to see a repeat of last year to where in a couple weeks he'll be like, well, I have a change of heart. Actually, there is one more team that I want to play for.
I think he's done, but again, like you said, Ace, once you get closer to the draft and get closer to training camp, there'll be rumblings, and of course, if a team loses their star quarterback or two, the phone's going to ring.
Right.
I really, and no disrespect to him, I really hope he's done. I mean, 45. I mean, I'm 45 too, and yeah, it'd be hard for me to walk from a sport that I played so long. But with the distractions, with what he went through this last year in his personal life with the team, I don't see him coming back unless a team loses their quarterbacks. He'll get a phone call, but I think right now, I think he should start off in the Fox in the studio. I don't think he should go on TV. I don't think he should be part of a 2-man crew right now. Let's see what his analyst skills are first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not everybody can be Tony Romo. But yeah, I think he sits in the booth or in the not press box, in the studio for a year or two, and kind of just let's hear him speak a little bit. So good luck to you, Brady. I know you're a big fan of the show, so good luck to you in your next chapter.
Well, Tom Brady's going to be making more as a freaking announcer than a lot of players are going to be making in the NFL, period. Like, and that's what, and that's just like the simple fact. I was looking at that. He's going to be making like 300 and I think what was like 325 million as an announcer. I'm like, that's freaking crazy.
It's more than he made in his career.
Yeah, that's so crazy that they offered him that much money.
And honestly, if I'm a new coach coming up, I would even call him, for quarterback coaching.
A quarterback coach, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Peyton Manning.
Or Peyton Manning, yeah, one of those two guys. But
I would love him to be on my staff. Yeah. I know it'd be expensive. I know it'd be time consuming, but to have and we talked about this before, to have someone as smart as Manning or Brady, I would love that.
Because Manning's that Mr. 1%.
Right.
So
I remember I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's that 1% guy. It's just rare. It's rare that you find somebody like that, but it's like I really hate to have this other discussion that I put in the chat, and Big B, you're like, hey, this would be a great discussion to talk about. But you know what? It kind of is. And the reason why I put this out there is simply because this kind of popped in my head. And this is kind of what bugs me, okay? So people go around talking about, the NFL's rigged and the NFL does this and this and this and this. And they're like, but Brady's the GOAT. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Because if you're sitting here saying that the NFL's rigged and the NFL has influence over games, so then wouldn't that mean that basically the NFL influenced it for Brady to win the Super Bowls? So if the NFL influenced Brady and rigged it to where he would win the Super Bowls, then he can't have the title of the GOAT because it was influence and rigs for him to win it. So my point is that if people are coming out talking about that the NFL is rigged, then you can't have a true GOAT because then the NFL sets it up for players to win. And that's my point. Yep. That was my whole point I was saying. And so, Big B, what's your thoughts on that?
We've had this talk on other shows. Four Bros was brought up a couple times. Brought it up on Morning Tailgate. I really hope it's not rigged. I do. I enjoy sports in general. Baseball, football, definitely my forte. Of course, wrestling, and we know wrestling is scripted. We're not stupid. But when it comes to football, and baseball, basketball, hockey, I really hope they don't. I really hope they're not scripted. And to be, even if it was scripted since day one, you can't tell me somebody has not come out and said, "Oh no, this is going to happen," and even if it's scripted recently or people are trying to make it sound scripted. Yes, it does look like it at times that the refs want this team to win. This player misses this tackle or drops this ball at a crucial time. It happens. Of course, the NFL, any sport, in their championship game, they want the big markets there. We're not stupid. They want LAs. They want the Green Bays. They want New Yorks. They want the Floridas. They want where the people are going to watch. So when those teams are getting in, everybody thinks it's rigged. KC, one of the hottest teams in the last 6 years since Mahomes taken over, has been to the championship game how many times? Of course, NFL wants them in the Super Bowl. Did it look like it was rigged? Yeah, there were some calls towards the end there that, okay, they're leaning towards KC getting into the Super Bowl. But again, referees make mistakes, players make mistakes. So I hope it doesn't. If it does come out rigged, I mean, we've said it before. If we know the NFL scripted, we're still going to watch for the hard hits, the amazing catches, the stuff like that. So
I think maybe you misunderstood what my question was. My question to you was not about whether you thought the NFL was simply, but it's okay. You went on your tangent. That's completely okay. But my question is am I wrong then? Am I wrong simply saying that if it's rigged, then how's he the GOAT at that point?
No, you're exactly right. Like you said, if it's rigged, they rigged it to where Brady's the GOAT. I get what you're saying now, but yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean, you can't have a GOAT if something's rigged.
Yeah, you can't. And that was my point. But my point on when we talk about rigging games, it would be hard for me to believe that teams after teams every year would be okay with Brady winning so many Super Bowls. It would be hard for me. Yeah, I'm just saying it would be hard for me to sit there and be like, the teams are okay with it. There would be no way that the teams, because the teams and the players would have to know about it, and players would be like, wait, you want him to win 7, but you want me to win 0 or 1, and people are going to crap on my legacy because of I win 0 or I win 1. I mean, I just don't believe that, because I truly feel like players would be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. But James, do you kind of see my point though? Is that I'm saying, you can't really have a true GOAT if it's rigged?
You can think whatever you want. I'm not gonna say if you're right or wrong. Everybody has their own opinions and all that. And you got to think about this with Michael Jordan. You got to think the same thing. Like, all right, how did he get 6 championships? How did he get all those MVPs and all that? And it makes me think of, and I watched it. I shouldn't have, but I watched that documentary on Tim Donaghy on Netflix, the NBA ref that fixed all those games. And that made me think twice about everything, and the fact that he said, oh, we had referees tell us, hey, make sure, the stars get the calls, make sure this happens. And if you see this, call it because it's on a star. So more and more I'm thinking something's going to come out. And I hope, like Big B said, I hope it's not rigged. You guys mentioned a long time ago for that one question, for $7 million, would you not watch sports again? And I keep thinking about that every time, like something like Sunday happened in Kansas City. Despite that player for Cincinnati pushing out Mahomes, there were some questionable calls. And I have people tell me all the time and say, well, it was just referees not doing a good job. But when it consistently happens, the sacks that should have been flags, but it's for Tom Brady when he gets sacked and rolled on. But he didn't get rolled on when you think about it. But when it happens to Burrow, they don't call it. When it happens to other people, they don't call it. So I think it's in any business, it's a star-driven, whatever makes you the most money. And I know that's going to favor that. So I'm not going to say if you're right or wrong. I'll just say I'll go with whatever you're saying because who knows what will come out, honestly.
And that's fine. It's fair enough. I just wanted to touch on that one quick. All right, so the next one we have and I know James, you kind of commented on this one a little bit too because the Baseball Hall of Fame was there and they're like who's in, who's out, blah blah. And I know that you ended up dropping a name out there, which you said should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. So, Big B, the class this year. What do you think? What do you think about the class this year?
It's just Scott Rowland, right?
Yeah,
Fred McGriff.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
he got in the Veterans Committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. Fred McGriff should have been in before that, I think.
But do you think they got it wrong? Do you think they got?
I gotta look at the ballot here. Off the top of my head,
Okay, so
I don't believe Rowland's a Hall of Famer per se. I mean, there's other guys out there. Mark Grace's name's been brought up.
Yes.
McGriff's names. If you compare the numbers, no, but I don't know.
So let me ask you. So 2024, which is coming up, okay? These are the names that they have on the ballot, and you guys can tell me whether or not who you think should be in. So we have.
First off, are we talking first ballot or gets in that in general?
So we're talking about the first ballot for right now. So
okay, so we're talking 2024. Should they be a first
Yep.
ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the names we have Adrian Beltre.
Yes.
We have Joe Mauer.
No.
Chase Utley.
No.
Jose Batista.
No.
Bartolo Colon.
No.
Adrian Gonzalez.
No.
Matt Holliday.
No.
Victor Martinez.
No.
Jose Reyes.
No.
David Wright. And
No.
Brandon Phillips.
No.
So, James, you're sticking with one. You're saying that one should be first ballot, and you're going with Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, he has 3,000 hits, and I believe he has 500 home runs. I don't think he won a championship, but there's plenty of players in the Hall of Fame that hasn't won a championship. So all the other names, I mean, they could get in later. When you think about Chase Utley, Victor Martinez played for a while, but there was really no one else that stood out.
Well, I think out of this group, and you may not agree with this, and that's okay, but I think out of this group, I think the one that they could consider is Joe Mauer.
Eventually, yeah. He was MVP, I believe, right? 1 year.
Mauer, yeah.
Not eventually, but not first ballot.
So right now you're sticking with just Beltre. Okay.
Yeah.
So Big B, how about you out of these names?
If you're old school, 3,000 hits get you in, Beltran gets in. Mauer, on the other hand, I think if he gets in the first ballot, it'll be because of what he did as a catcher. First catcher to win a batting title. First, he won the MVP, his Gold Gloves, and he was also he was the media child,
Mhm.
gold child. Nobody could speak wrong of Mauer. Now, if he would have got a ring, I would say he's a for sure first ballot, but Beltran's probably it. I don't see anybody else on this list. I'm just looking right now. I mean, like James said, 3,000 hits. Nobody's come close to that. That's on this panel right now for, Alex Rodriguez, okay, we know the issue behind him. But, Todd Huntley, 25-19.
Chase Utley?
Oh, Todd
Helton.
Helton, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, huh?
Yeah, he had 72% of the votes, and he only had 25. So Beltran should almost write his own ticket to Cooperstown. If we're based on that. I could also see the voters not voting anybody in next year because there ain't nobody outside of Beltran.
So these are the career numbers for Joe Mauer. He's got 1,018 runs scored. Mm-hmm. He has 2,123 hits. Yep. He has 428 doubles, 3 triples, 143 home runs, 923 RBIs, 52 stolen bases, 939 walks, and then his career batting average is a 306.
The 306 might hold up and get him in too, but
yeah,
I just don't see.
There were several seasons he batted, and 2000. So in 2006, he batted a 347.
Yep.
In 2008, he batted a 328.
Yep.
In 2009, he batted a 365.
Yep.
And in 2010, he batted a 327.
Yep. Did he only play like 11 seasons?
Played 15.
No, he played 14.
15.
Okay.
2004 to 2018.
Yeah.
Wow, he came up in 04.
Yeah, he came up in 04, played 35 games. After that, between 2005, if you take out the first year, it's only 14. But 2011, he only played 82 games due to injuries, which moved him to first base, I believe. But I don't know. I mean, I'll get messages. What? You don't think Joe Mauer's a Hall of Famer? He is. He'll get in the Hall of Fame. First ballot, no.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like I'm definitely with you on the Beltre thing. I think Beltre definitely gets in on the first round in first ballot. I definitely think so. And I'm not saying this because I'm not a Mets fan, and everybody knows that. And I'm not saying this because of it. But David Wright, he's not a first ballot. Jose Reyes, he's not a first ballot. I just don't see it. Maybe eventually they get in, but right now I don't see it. Joe Mauer, I will say that I do believe at some point Joe Mauer gets in. I don't think he's a first ballot, but I was simply saying that if anybody in this group besides Adrian Beltre was going to get in on the first time, it would be Mauer out of these. Chase Utley will probably get in at some point. He won't be first ballot, but he will get in. And Bartolo Colon because of longevity he might.
PEDs. He was suspended twice. I don't want him anywhere in the Hall of Fame.
No, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
That's gonna be tough. Yeah. Him
But-
getting suspended is gonna hurt.
Oh, definitely. That's a
I mean, why is Andrew Jones not in yet? I mean,
You know why? And I know this is gonna piss off Ace and all the Braves fans.
don't even say it. Don't even say it.
Because he left the Braves in the first place, and then when he went to the Dodgers, he was a disgrace, and he tried to make it up going to the Yankees, and he was even bad there. So he
He had
ruined.
10 consecutive Gold Gloves with Atlanta.
I don't know. No, I'm saying because he left the Braves, and because he went to go pasture out like a cow out in the outfield with the Dodgers. He ruined whatever he used to be, and then with the Yankees, he was even worse. And I heard some bad things, like even when he was a Brave about him, and that kind of turned me off. He wasn't a great teammate, something like that. But I can see why he's not a Hall of Famer. But then I can see why, because of his start, those 10 years or whatever. But I can see why not, though.
Who the heck can come out and say they've won 10 consecutive Gold Gloves? There's not too many people that can do that.
yeah, he should.
I guess it's not how you start, but it's how you finish in people's minds, in their
Andrew
eyes.
Jones, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Braves fan, but I'm saying it because Andrew Jones is one of the best center fielders to ever play the game.
Yeah, he's not Willie Mays.
Well,
That's why I said
Not Mickey Mantle.
that's why I said one of the best center fielders to ever play. Andrew Jones was one of the best center fielders to ever play the game. And
Until you got like me.
And I think Sheffield should be in too. I mean,
PEDs. And he was an a-hole in the locker room and to the media, so I don't think he'll ever get in by that.
Probably right.
In those ways.
He's just under 400 homer.
James is just shutting crap down tonight, left and right.
I'm thinking of how the writers. I'm thinking of how the media members portray these players. From what I gathered from all these people, that's who holds the key to get in the Hall of Fame.
Get it. And I mean, you can look at David Wright's numbers right now, and I can tell you his numbers. He's got 1,777 hits.
Yeah, but then he got hurt, and
he's got 242 homers and 970 RBIs, and his career batting average is a 296. So
but James ain't wrong. Until we get the
numbers don't stick out.
No, it's not even that. But James is right. Until we get a new voting system or a new voting people that aren't so tied on to the PhD stuff in the 90s and early 2000s and even currently, a lot of these players that should be in aren't going to get in.
Right.
Which Pettit should be in.
All right, James got pulled up by himself for some reason.
I didn't do that. I know that. Well, since it's a solo show, David Wright got hurt.
There we go. Too big.
There we go. So, let me ask you this, Chris. Let me ask you this, because I know this has been a topic of discussion for a very, very long time within the Hall of Fame, and you get a lot of people who, say yes and no about this. Pete Rose. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
I think if you let Mike Piazza in, you should let Pete Rose in.
What?
Because he allegedly used PEDs and you let him in.
Well,
and gambling now, you could gamble now on MLB games. I think time has passed.
Here's my thing. You don't let Pete Rose in as a manager. You let him in as the all-time hit leader.
No doubt.
And that's exactly what his plaque says. He played from this time to this time. He's the all-time hit leader. You don't mention anything about his managerial career.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to come down to you got to get new people voting.
Yeah. That's what I'm basing. I'm just basing it on what I've heard over the years.
And you're not wrong, because that's what every sports analyst that does baseball says that. They voted this way because of PhDs. They don't know the true who used them, who didn't. That's why they take forever to get these people in here.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, heck, as much as we hate A-Rod, he's got the numbers to be in the Hall of Fame.
But
Had it. Manny Ramirez
But-
has the number. No,
But,
you're exactly. There's a lot of butts behind all these players, and not the ones they sit on. You know,
even though they injected something in there.
I mean, Omar Vizquel, one of the best shortstops that I've seen outside of Ozzie Smith and Cal Ripken,
Mm-hmm.
could turn the sweetest double plays around. He should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, I mean, Jimmy Rollins, Mark Burley,
Ooh.
Fernando
those are
Rodriguez.
two.
Fernando Rodriguez, one of the best closers recently. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and he only got 10% of the votes. I mean,
but to me, he finished his career horribly with the Mets and the Brewers. He had a thing off the field, and he's not really welcome to like any baseball society because of that. So I think that keeps him out. So to me, it's about, like we talked about Cal Ripken Jr. earlier, and Tony Gwynn you could throw in there as well. It's how you finish. You play throughout. You don't leave teams. For me, I really think about Heldon.
Everybody moves around
play
so
to
much.
win the game.
Yep.
Hello, you play to win the game.
Yep. And look what happens. Lovie Smith gets fired because of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't play to just play it.
Yeah.
You play to win the game. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So, speaking of Lovie Smith getting fired as the head coach, we know that news broke that the Broncos have officially acquired Sean Payton from the Saints, and the rumors are that the Broncos gave away a first-round pick and a second-round pick to acquire Sean Payton. So, is Sean Payton the right man for the Broncos? And immediately start out, I will say that Sean Payton was a fantastic coach. And if there's somebody that can help the Broncos, absolutely, Sean Payton would be that guy. Or could people just be wrong and be like, well, he had Drew Brees?
Mm-hmm.
So it can kind of go either way.
That's what it's going to
It could definitely go either way. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely find out. But he does have Russell Wilson. I'm not counting Russell Wilson out because I think Russell Wilson was the product of a horrible coach in Nathaniel Hackett. I really do.
He did play after he did play better after he left. That's for sure.
He did. And when Hackett got fired, I think the Broncos had like 4 games after that, and they averaged 28 points a game in their final 4 games. So I'm looking at that going, obviously it wasn't Wilson. Obviously it was Nathaniel Hackett. So Drew Brees can not Drew Brees, but Sean Payton can kind of go into the right situation again. You know, Denver's going to have a good defense. He's going to have a veteran quarterback. I do believe that Sean Payton can really help this Broncos team. Can he lead them to the AFC West crown? No. But can he make them more competitive? Absolutely. So, James, we know that your Raiders are in the AFC West with the Broncos, where Sean Payton just went. And I hope this is not a biased take with you being a Raiders fan, but is Sean Payton going to be able to help these Denver Broncos? Is he the right man for the job?
I wanted to scream yesterday when I heard that, but my head was throbbing so much. I think I had something. I couldn't yell, but I was so mad that because I thought all this time Jerry was going to get him for the Cowboys. I really thought that was going to be a match made in heaven, since he was the offensive coordinator there a long time ago with Parcells. I don't need the Broncos to be good. I need them to be how they were with, how they've been. I need Russell to be bad. I need, Judy to underperform and all that. But I didn't like it, of course, being who I am. To me, it could go either way. Like, he could really be bad at his job, not coaching for a little bit. He was okay, as a studio guy, but you could tell that's not his calling. as Ace has left, but
Wow.
he'll be right back probably. I'll tell you what, Big B, I think it could go either way here with Sean Payton in Denver. It could either be great, and he has time to get this program going, and he already has some pieces on offense that work. Or it could either explode. Russell could be really bad, and you can't get rid of him until 2 or 3 years. Either the players in the locker room doesn't accept Peyton, which I hope happens, but I think he will garner a lot of respect, and the Broncos will be a destination for people as long as Russell Wilson plays better. It's all on who can make Russell Wilson play better. And it is funny, too, though, because Hackett and Peyton, they run the same offense. So it'd be interesting to see how Russell Wilson plays in the same offense, but with a different voice. Maybe that was the issue, but this instantly would put him, where the Chargers are, and the Raiders still, down and last. But they should be competing for a wild card, or at least be over 500. Yeah. It's a tough division, but I think adding Sean Payton is great. We'll see what happens. But Big B, what do you think about Sean Payton going to Denver?
I'm with you. I mean, it should help. It might hurt. We don't know. I mean, right now they don't have a draft pick this upcoming draft, at least the first couple rounds or the first round, which could hurt. But again, a lot of teams are trading a lot of their picks. They're not using the draft like it used to be. So now Peyton's got to go in, evaluate his offense, his defense, talk with, the offensive side of the ball. What can we do to help? Talk to Russell Wilson. What do you want? Do we need another receiver? Do we need a running back? Offensive line. What can we do? What kind of plays do you want to call?
I want to ride.
Yeah. So the defensive side, bring that defensive back. Chris is joining us now.
Yeah.
So, but I think it might be the right fit for him. Again, how good of a coach is he? He had Drew Brees forever. So, it's kind of like that Tom Brady Belichick. Who's better, Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Belichick? Well, I think a lot
Brady got that one.
We're going to say Brady. So it's going to be kind of the same thing. Who made who? And we'll see. I mean, it was mid-season that Sean Payton started getting his coaching staff together, so he knew he was going to get a job this season.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. But I wonder what he thinks when he heard. Denver was actually my third choice.
They wanted wanted Ryans really bad.
But here's the thing, though. It could be Denver's third choice. It could be Denver's first choice. The thing is, they had to agree with the Saints though to trade it. It's not like, we're going to bring you in as a coach. So
pay a ransom.
you might be our first choice, but what does the Saints want to get you?
Yeah.
I got a coach here. Yeah, we like that I can sign. He could be our coach, but I really like Peyton. What can we do to get him here? That's pretty much what it was like. So.
Quickly, Crispy Bacon.
Yeah.
Are you devastated like me that Sean Payton didn't go back to the Cowboys?
No, I knew he wasn't going to Dallas. McCarthy's there. Quinn's probably gonna take.
Well, we know who's not in Dallas anymore, and that's Moore.
He went out here.
And 9 other coaches.
Yeah, and one being Zeke's best friend or a close friend to Zeke, the running back coach.
Yeah,
so,
that means they're gonna pass more to what I think.
I don't know.
McCarthy's supposed to be the OC as of now. That could change, but as of now,
you keep running those plays where Elliott's the center. You're gonna go places.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So our last topic here, I don't know if Ace will get back on, but thoughts on Breanna Stewart signing with the New York Liberty. James, you're probably the best guy to ask that question to. You watch a little bit more basketball than I do, but what's that mean to the Liberty?
She's a 4-time All-Star. She's averaged 20 points for her career. She's one of the stars in the game, superstars in the game. She was healthy all last season. She's a two-time champion, 2018 MVP. Now, I look at Seattle losing her, and that's a really bad thing. But I look at the Liberty, who play in Brooklyn. They haven't been good in what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They haven't been good since 2017.
Yep.
You need star power in one of your biggest markets, and this is a great deal for them. They need to get better right away. So this is a great deal for the Liberty. I don't know necessarily for her, but she can certainly market herself there and really show out. I mean, if she ever wanted to go ISO somewhere, it would be with New York. They still have a lot of climbing to do, though, to get up to the top of the East. But this is a great move for the New York Liberty.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, to get a star player in the market of like a New York. I mean, I don't know their roster offhand to say she's the biggest name coming, but she's a young and up and coming star. Yeah, it's gonna help them out greatly with steals and stuff or sales. I was just looking here. Well, she's been in the league for 6 years, so
Right.
She's a solid veteran. So it should help them out great. Seattle, who's been a powerhouse the last couple of years, it's going to take a big hit, but you can find that right person, you can rebound really quick and not miss a beat. And that's just like any sport. Chris, what do you think on Stewart going to the Liberty?
I mean, it's probably a good move. I'm kind of like you, Big B. I haven't watched too much of WNBA, but I'm sure it's a good move, and Liberty will be glad to have her on the team.
Yeah. I mean, I do catch some of the games. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be biased and not watch it because it's women playing. I mean,
Right.
heck, we are the voice and carrier of Oregon Cougars football, and I'm excited for them. I can't
It's
wait.
just
It
hard
gets
sometimes.
Go ahead,
I was
Chris.
going to say it's just hard sometimes with those leagues where they play every day to catch all of the
Yeah.
the
No,
games.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Oh, excuse me, good. Ooh. So Ace looks like he's not going to join the rest of the show, so we'll just go around, get our final thoughts here. So we'll start with James. James, what you got going on?
Just work the rest of the week, but I was happy to be here tonight to talk some sports again. I have all these opinions in my head and no one to talk to at work about. So it's good to have this, and I'm already jonesing for some baseball. I don't care if the Super Bowl's coming. I'm already ready for some baseball, whether it's spring training, WBC, which I hope to be at in Arizona for that. I can't wait for baseball.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, Super Bowl's around the corner. Baseball's around the corner. Good time to be a sports fan, and thanks everyone for watching, tuning in.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Check us out all week long. We got different shows, different days. Sunday morning tailgate. We'll recap the playoffs. We'll recap the season. Kind of preview a little bit of the new format for the Pro Bowl. And then the following week, definitely we're going to start the kickoff here on C2C Super Bowl with the morning tailgate, and hopefully have a big show going on like we did last year. So with that being said, James, thanks for joining. Chris, thanks for jumping on when Ace's computer crapped out on him or whatever. But with that being said, we'll join you next week on SportsMinute. Have a good night.